I'm Rantasmo, and Clive Barker needs more gay. Openly gay author and film director Clive Barker has created a preposterous number of short stories, novels, and movies, most of which belong to a very specific brand of dark fantasy and horror. And I have to admit that I'm not as familiar with his entire body of work as I'd like to be. I've liked what I've read of his for the most part, but thanks to my ever-waning attention span, I'm much more familiar with his movies. A theme that shows up a lot in Barker's work, and in a lot of work by gay artists, is that theme of deviation, of people and creatures driven to the edge of society, because they're somehow different from the rest of us. One thing that Clive Barker does a lot is make his monster characters very sympathetic, even if they're the antagonist. They're not really evil, just misunderstood. Like, maybe they're just way more into BDSM than most people. Pinhead's become a veritable horror icon, but some people forget that in the first two Hellraiser movies, which Barker had the most involvement in, he's not really a villain. He and the other Cenobites are more like a neutral third party, who just happen to also be there. They're really just doing their job, which is to get super kinky with anyone who solves the puzzle box. Kinky in the sense of, you're not using all your skin, are you? Or take Candyman, which is based on a Clive Barker story. As far as slasher monsters go, Candyman is fairly sympathetic. Almost romantic, actually. Even with that hook hand, he's kinda dreamy.
Be my victim.
Okay. If any character is truly evil in a Clive Barker story, it's usually not because they're inhuman. Rather, it's because they're the worst of humanity. The real bad guys in Hellraiser are the unholy trinity of Frank, Julia, and Julia's shoulder pads. Shoulder pads of death! Julia is one of the few horror villains who I think would make an equally good antagonist on Designing Women. But nowhere is the sympathetic monster more evident than in one of Barker's lesser-known, lesser-liked movies, Nightbreed, which I'll admit is a guilty pleasure of mine. Just look at this stuff. Is it a horror movie or a production of Cats designed by H.P. Lovecraft? Actually, it's neither. Nightbreed is more of an action-adventure movie with horror themes. It's about a secret kingdom of monsters who are in fact the good guys, and the villains are the humans who hunt them down. Led by a crazed serial killer played by, holy shit, is that David Cronenberg? Naked Lunch director David Cronenberg is in this movie? That seems sort of out of place. Oh, never mind. I mostly just love the world this movie creates. As grotesque as some of the monsters are, and as little as we actually learn about them, they all just seem sort of fun to be around. Like, I kinda wanna live in this world a little bit. I want to hang out with this guy and find out what his deal is. Why does he have eels? I think that, gay or straight, we've all flirted with the idea of blending into a society that we don't belong to, just to see how the other side lives. There's a quote from Clive Barker that I think sort of sums up the gay experience. This isn't just about acts performed in the bedroom. It alters your point of view, your aesthetic. Part of me wants to blend in, but part of me wants to stay separate. Because there are things about both worlds that are admirable. Barker knows that even though sexuality may not define us, it is an essential part of our identity. It's what makes us human. Or, as the case may be, it makes us whatever this is.